Hi, I'm Emma.
And I'm Elsie, and we're from the website A Beautiful Mess.
And we love photography about as much as we love handmade, so we wanted to share some tips with you guys for getting great product shots at home. First, let's talk about cameras in case you're in the market for something new or looking to upgrade. So here we have 3 different options. This is a Canon T6i Rebel. This is an 80D.
And this is the 5D Mark III. This is what we currently use most of the time for shots on our website, but we've used all these different models throughout the years for our website and also our first Etsy shop.
Yeah, and they kind of represent different price points, so depending on your budget, you can definitely get something that's going to work for you.
So one of the lenses that we really recommend is the 35mm. It is super versatile, so you can use it for close-ups, far away shots like a room. We use it for people shots, pretty much anything. Like if I have a trip where I can't switch my lens and I can only bring one, I always choose that one.
And these other 2 lenses are considered macro lenses, so they get a lot closer in on your subject. This one is a 60mm lens. This one is a 100mm lens. And one thing that sometimes people think a macro lens is just for super tight photos or really small subject, like rings or product photography, and it is great for that, but it's also great for portrait photography. So they are really versatile lenses. Another piece of really useful equipment is a tripod. So no matter if you feel confident shooting in manual or shooting in automatic, a tripod is still really useful, and here's why. Sometimes you need to shoot in an area where the light is kind of low, and how your camera compensates is it opens its shutter for longer, letting in more light, which is great. But the potential is if you move it all while you're holding your camera, you can get camera shake. So let me show you a photo where I was hand holding my camera, and you can see that the letters and the image is just not as crisp. That's because I had camera shake. Now let me show you a photo where I used my tripod. You can see the image is much more crisp, showing off my product.
Next, we want to talk about how to find the best light in your home using 3 examples from my home. So this is my best room for photos, and I'll tell you why. It's a screened-in sunroom, by the way. It has windows all the way around, so the windows are amazing. Also, the brick is painted white, so that reflects light, and the ceiling and floor are both white, so it's the most reflective room you could possibly get.
So here's our second example. This room is great because it has a great source of natural light, the doors and this big window behind me. But the temptation is, if the day was a little bit darker, maybe it's cloudy, you might think, oh, I'll just turn on my overhead light. Now the problem is, you will have mixed lighting, and this can really throw off your white balance. Here you can see an example I took with the overhead light on. See how the colors feel a little bit unnatural and the picture overall feels warm or kind of yellow. So turn your overhead light off and utilize as much natural light as you can. See how in the photo the colors look so much more natural? If needed, you can move your subject closer to the window or even open curtains or open the door, like this. Your goal is to get as much natural light as you can. So here's our third example. Let's say you don't have any of those big, beautiful windows in your house, and you're thinking, how am I gonna do this? Well, my number 1 tip is go to your front door and open it. It might feel a little strange, but shooting your product photography near your front door could be the best natural light in your house. Another thing you can do is get a sheet of white foam board to bounce light or cover it with aluminum foil. Super inexpensive and a great way to bounce that natural light back onto your subject.
Next up, let's talk about product styling and staging. This is the part where you get to tell the story of your products using color. So the easiest way to do this is to find a couple of surfaces throughout your home, maybe 2, 3, or 4, that you can use over and over again so that your shop photos will all match. A couple of places in my home that I love to photograph on are this wooden coffee table. It has really beautiful wood grain, but it's still pretty light. I like that. I love this fuzzy blanket because it has texture, but it's still very, very bright. And I also love we have a colorful turquoise floor, which makes great photos. And if you don't have a surface, or maybe you're living in an apartment and it's all brown carpet that you hate, here's an idea for that.
So we built this little DIY backdrop to make it feel like you have a beautiful penny tile kitchen countertop or table. And as you can see, it has rough edges. You don't have to cut tile, you just have to get it into place and add some grout, and then you can have a beautiful little surface. So when you're shooting your product, you really want to think about two things: sharing the information as well as sharing your product's story. So the information could include things like the scale, the color, or right now we're going to be shooting this cute coffee mug and we really want to showcase the front. The next thing you want to do is showcase the story of your product. So where is this product going to live in the house? What things is it useful for? So right now we're going to set up a little Saturday morning breakfast scene because that's when you might enjoy a cup of coffee.
So instead of just photographing the mug, we're going to set it up as a little lifestyle scene with a bagel, tea towel, and then some coffee.
I think it's great to get life in your product photography, so including hands. And if you're shooting by yourself, you can utilize the self timer on your camera. Then just review and make sure you've got the shot that you love.
All right, we have one last tip for you guys. So in addition to doing the single product shots, always try to do a group shot because these show how it could look in the home and they just show what a great collection that these products would make.
So that's it. We hope you've had fun. We've had a great time and we hope you feel really pumped up to take some great product photography.
Yeah.